Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people. Let's get ready. Let's get ready and let's get right to it today. Good people. I'm going to put my phone on do not disturb really quickly. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good people. Let's go ahead and get right into it today. As you can see, or I'm not sure if you saw, but the title of the live today is Do You Really Respect Yourself? And this is going to be one that's going to require you to really sit with yourself. So I welcome you to come into the space. If you are here and you're already here, I welcome you to say something. Let's go ahead and get our housekeeping done before we actually get into any of the meat and the bones of what we're doing today. My name is Angel Charmaine. For those of you who do not know me, I am the CEO and the founder of Speak Up Sis LLC. I am also the editor in chief of Speak Up Sis magazine and the entire Speak Up Sis empire. I am also an authenticity coach. I help women to be able to live who God has created them to be as their authentic selves, right? So I thank you all for coming into the space. I show up here at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time just to share some words of wisdom with you all, to share just nuggets of information from time to time, and really just to create a space where you're able to hear some good, hearty stuff. You can chew up the meat and spit out the bones and prayerfully be able to walk out what it is that God has called you to do. I've been called in the kingdom of heaven to feed women as they walk in kingdom purpose. And so oftentimes what I have to say might be a little hard. It might be a little harsh. Sometimes you might go, but I promise you it is so good for you and it's going to help you while you're on your journey. So I welcome you into this space. We're here most days at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So feel free to come on in. I'm not here every single weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because I have other things that I need to get done. Have other things that I need to get done. Sometimes work will pop up and I need to get those things done. So I try my best to be here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if I'm not going to be here, then you won't see me. Okay. So feel free to connect to our YouTube community. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you'll get notifications. If you click that notification bell, you'll get a notification when there's going to be new content or when there is new content on the channel, or if there's going to be a live or something of that nature, then you'll be notified. So if you want to stay connected, you can totally do that. If you're on Facebook or if you're on LinkedIn, I believe you're able to set a notification as well so that you can know when we are here and when this conversation is happening. So come on into the room. Our housekeeping, everybody, is that we are leaders. We are not lurkers. We are not lurkers. So don't sit on the outskirts. Don't sit on the outside of the video watching. Don't do that. Click the video. Come on in. Make sure that you put your name in the chat. Let us know, who you are. Let us know that you are here. Let us know from where you're watching, what city, state, country. Give us your greeting of choice. Hey, hi, how you doing? What's up? Whatever your greeting of choice is, you can drop that in the comment section and to make sure that you engage with one another. I know you're coming in this space to hear what I have to say, but there's a fuller community of people with a wealth of knowledge and information and wisdom that you can glean from. So I welcome you to get to know the people that you see show up in this space on a regular basis. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Again, when you come into the space, let me know that you're here. I'm going to pull out my notes and we're going to go ahead and jump into it because I have some things that I actually want to, some points that I want to share that I believe is going to help you today. So when I see you coming in, make sure that you put your greeting in the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're viewing from, and let's get into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in to the conversation. I've got a simple, it is simple, but I have a very loaded question for you all today. And the question that I have for you all today is, do you respect yourself? Do you respect yourself? I'm not asking you if you love yourself, right? I'm not asking if you love yourself. That's not the question. I'm not asking if you like yourself. That's not the question either. I'm not even asking if you treat yourself every now and then. You get your nails done, you get your feet done, or anything like that. I am asking, do you really respect yourself? Right? Let's sit with that for a moment. Do you respect yourself? Let's break this down just a little bit. The first question we have to ask is, what is respect really? Right? Sometimes we use words and we don't fully know what those words mean. They're just regular words that we've heard. We know we have a basic sort of roundabout understanding of what the word is, but I like to actually sit down and really think about words and make sure that I am hearing them clearly, that I understand them properly. And so I want you to think about, what is respect? Hey, CJ, good morning. Thank you so much for popping into this morning. I appreciate you. So, respect means valuing something deeply enough to treat it with honor, to treat it with care, and to even be considerate of it, right? To treat it with consideration. And so when we talk about self-respect, we're talking about how you treat you as an individual. Self-respect isn't about being arrogant. It's not about putting other people down. It's not about, I'm better than you and all this kind of stuff. That's not what it's about. It's about walking in your worth without needing to explain it to anyone, doing what is best and what is integral for you without feeling the need to explain yourself, without feeling the need to, not be confrontational. And I listen, I know a lot about being non-confrontational. I promise you, I had to sit with myself and ask myself. I was listening to a sermon. Well, it wasn't a sermon. I was listening to a pastor talk, and the pastor was talking about people pleasing. That's what caught my attention. The pastor was talking about people pleasing, and he said something about not respecting yourself. People pleasers don't have a respect for themselves. They esteem other people higher than themselves. And it really stopped me. And I was like, and I had to sit with that. And I was like, do I respect myself? And he started like giving off a list of character traits for people who are people pleasers. And I can honestly say that there was a time in my life when I was heavy on people pleasing, real heavy on people pleasing. It was very difficult for me to do the things that I needed to do for myself and to stand up for myself, because I was so concerned about what other people would think. I had such a fear of abandonment. I had such a fear of rejection that I found myself being overly committed to other people's happiness and well-being over my own. And so when he said that breeds disrespect for yourself, I just really had to sit with that and was like, because I never thought about it. If you ask me on any given day and say, do you have self-respect? I'll be like, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. I have self-respect. But then when I started to sit with that thing and I started to think about what it looks like to be a people pleaser, when I started to think about what it looks like what happens when I respect other people, What is it about other people that I respect? And when I started to list off the things, like people that I respect are people who stand for something, people who are bold and confident, right? People who are people of integrity, and people who have a spirit of excellence, and people who stand against it. So I'm beginning to think about all these things. And then I looked at myself and I thought, oh my goodness, you respect these things in other people, but you quench those things in yourself. If you were on the outside of you, would you respect how you move? Yeah. I want you to sit with that. If you were on the outside of you, would you respect how you move? I know that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You don't have to demand the respect from others when you genuinely have it for yourself. A lot of us will sit in a place where, we're telling, you're going to respect me. You're going to respect me. You're not going to this or that, or, we're commanding and demanding that people treat us a certain way. But the truth is that you don't have to demand respect from other people when you genuinely have respect for yourself. It is your boundaries. It is your decisions. It is your voice that will speak for you. But many of us don't have boundaries. If you're someone who lacks boundaries, you are probably sitting in a place where you are not, I'm just going to be very frank here. You are low on self-respect for yourself. If you are someone who doesn't have any boundaries, or you have very limp and shady boundaries that you cross constantly, if you make poor decisions that lean more on the side of others instead of yourself, listen, you have low self-respect. Can I be real with y'all? Women, y'all know I talk to the ladies. Ladies, if you are a woman who you say, I'm going to live this abstinent lifestyle. I'm not going to be engaging in fornication. I'm going to trust God. I respect God. I respect his word. I respect myself. I respect the temple of the Holy Spirit or whatever. And as soon as you're in a relationship, and you want to make this person happy, or you don't want this person to leave you, or whatever, and you find yourself doing the very thing that you said. Well, here you cross boundaries or didn't have any boundaries to start, and now you're making decisions that are going to benefit the other person, and now have you sitting up in a place of shame and guilt and self-condemnation because you don't have self-respect. I know that you ain't got to say that you understand. You don't have to say that you understand. I'm not even requiring that you tell me that you understand me right now. Just take it all in. If you find it difficult to connect with Speak Up Sis, because it is a platform for sis, for you to open up your mouth and speak up and share the hard things. If you're so concerned, I can't share my story because my mama gonna be upset. I'm scared what so-and-so gonna say, or whatever. Listen, you care and honor these people more than you have an honor and an esteem for yourself, and that is an issue. Today, the question is, do you have self-respect? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So listen, so while we're in this tough place right here, like right here in the middle, while we are in this tough place, I want to say that some of you are like, I don't talk, but listen, you may not be cussing yourself out. You may not be a person who cussing yourself out in the mirror in the morning, or anything like that, but the disrespect that you have for yourself, it shows up in so many different ways. So let me see, let me see where you showing up at. How about that? let me show you where you may be showing up with a lack of respect for yourself. If you're a people pleaser, if you're a people pleaser, if you're the person who you gotta keep the peace at all costs, at all costs. You don't want to deal with no conflict. You don't want no confrontation. You just like, I just don't feel like arguing I'm not gonna do that. I don't even want to be bothered with this, right? You say yes to things that drain you, things that frustrate you, things that wear you out. You tolerate disrespect from people just so you can keep the peace. Why? Because I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to bother. So you say yes to stuff that you don't want to say yes to. You do things that you don't want to, you don't actually want to do. Women, we're big when it comes to this people pleasing thing. And I sit in this place when it comes to relationships because we do it in relationships all the time. You say you don't want to do this, and then to keep the peace or to make somebody happy, you doing what you said you wasn't gonna do, right? You got parents, you like, no, I don't really want to do that, but you do it anyway. Why? Because you don't want to go through the fussing. You're gonna people please at any cost just so you can keep the peace. This is a sign that you may not be respecting yourself. Are y'all rocking with me today? Am I here by myself today? I feel like I'm here by myself today, but that's okay. I'm going to put this out there and then you all can watch it on the replay if you are not in the room today. Another sign that you may be disrespecting yourself is that you lack boundaries. You let folks overstep your values, right? You say that you value honesty, and yet people keep lying to you and you just accept it. You know they lying, you know they're not telling the truth. But honesty and truth are values, but you let people overstep the values all the time, right? You let folks overstep your time. You say you're only going to do something for 30 minutes. I'll be able to do this for 30 minutes. And now you there 2 hours later, you still there. You ain't got no boundaries, right? You allow people to usurp your energy. You know you tired, you know you worn out, you know you need to get some rest, but no, you're gonna stay in this place, you're gonna keep doing this thing while people you just let them suck out all of your energy. Why? Because you don't want to be too much, right? You don't want it to be, you don't want to be being too much. You don't want people to think that you think you better than them, and you don't want all these things. So then you don't have no boundaries, or your boundaries are just so loosey goosey that it feels like you don't have any boundaries, or you don't hold a line when it comes to your boundaries. This may be a sign that you are not respecting yourself. If you have negative self-talk, if you're someone who's constantly calling yourself dumb, if you're constantly calling yourself ugly, if you're like, girl, you always lazy, you need to get up and do whatever. Self-deprecating remarks, that negative self-talk. I was at an event. I'm trying to remember where I was, but I've probably done it several times, so I can't remember exactly where I was the last time. But I think I was somewhere and someone was saying something about themselves, and I was like, Hoops and Hips, the poetess. We were at the poetry thing, and she said something about her legs, or we were getting ready to take a picture, and she was like, she didn't want her legs or something. And I said, no, not today. We're not doing self-deprecation. No, sis. And speak up, sis. We're not doing self-deprecation. We're not doing negative self-talk. We're not gonna do the whole I'm so fat, I'm not cute, I'm just fat, I'm just like, we're not doing that. Things that you would never, ever, ever say to another person, you speak to yourself. Things that you would never say to a person that you love. Let me say that. Things that you would never say to a person that you love, a person that you care about, you say it to yourself. That negative self-talk. If you do that, it is a sign that you may not be respecting yourself. If you remain in places where you don't feel honored, when you remain in places where people don't value your presence and what you bring to the table, I promise you that's a sign that you have low self-respect. You are someone, you show up, you showing up everywhere, right? You're a giver, you're giving, you're sowing, you're planting, you're pouring. But deep down on the inside, you know that you're not being treated like someone who matters. You know that you're being treated like they could take you or leave you. But you stay there. That's the issue. It's not about whether or not somebody treats you a certain way or not. The issue when it comes to self-respect is that when you know that to be true, you still stay in that space because you're looking for validation from these people or a person. You're looking to be able to get accolades or accomplishments or whatever from being in spaces that don't honor you. If you do this, then you are dealing with some low self-respect or no self-respect. And just let me say, don't none of this make you a bad person, okay? Can I say that? None of this makes you a bad person. None of it. All it means is that you might have some healing work to do. You just might have some work that you need to do. So I'm going to take a moment. Let me take a moment to look at I'm going to pull this up on another device because I'm not seeing any comments. It could be just because I'm here by myself, but I just, uh-oh, I could be here by myself, y'all. And so if I'm here by myself, then I understand. I'm just going to keep going. But, okay, so I see right now. Got it. So I gotta turn my other device on. I see you. Hey, Miss Vicky. Thank you so much for saying something in the chat. Miss Vicky says, I hear that from people at times. I know I hear these sorts of things all the time, Miss Vicky. And when I hear them, it's like a flag goes up that tells me like this person is dealing with some self-respect issues. Today, I know this is a tough issue. It's a tough topic. And just let me say, most of us will say, oh, that's not me. That's not me. I respect myself. I respect myself. And you're just fooling yourself until you can get to a place where you will acknowledge that. I'm not saying that you don't respect yourself at all. However, you may be allowing lots of disrespect. You may esteem yourself very little. Your self-esteem is low. If you are people pleasing at all costs, if you refuse to create boundaries or at least shore up the boundaries that you have, if you're constantly using these self-deprecating remarks and having lots of negative self-talk, and if you are staying places where the people don't honor you and you know they don't honor you, then guess what? You are dealing with having low or no self-respect. But I want to say to you, that doesn't make you a bad person. May I say that to you? That does not mean that you're a bad person. That doesn't mean that you're silly. That don't mean you're slow. That don't mean any of those things. See, that's that negative self-talk. Because to own this part of you, especially if you're a negative self-talker, to sit in a place where you own that, hey, maybe I do have some issues with self-respect, that negative self-talk will jump at you and say, see, that's what's wrong with you now. You're supposed to be let people do this. Da, 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 da. So I want to say to you, that if you are dealing with having no or very low self-respect, that does not make you a bad person. That don't make you slow. That don't make you nothing. That makes you human. That makes you human. That makes you a person who has dealt with some things. That makes you a person who has had some trauma probably in your life. That makes you a person who has learned to think a certain way. There's a mindset that you have that could be just learned thinking and learned behaviors. I want to come to you today and say, it's okay to be honest with yourself, to be genuine and truthful and transparent and vulnerable and say, you know what? I deal with self-respect issues, but no longer. But no longer. Again, if you are watching, please, we are not lurkers in this space. We are leaders. And so I ask that you will come on in, click on the video, come on in. Let us know you're here. Let us know your name, where you're watching from. You know, you can join the conversation today. I welcome you. Leaders don't lurk. Okay? So I don't like to just sit and talk about problems, right? I don't want to sit and just talk about problems. Self-respect, or excuse me, low self-respect or no self-respect. We get it. We see it. Yeah, Angel, I might be dealing with that a little bit. I never want to just point out problems to you all without giving you some solutions or giving you some ways that you can work through these things, right? So the question then becomes, how do we how do we start rebuilding? How do we start rebuilding self-respect? I don't believe we're born in a place of not respecting ourselves. I don't. I believe it's something we develop over time for lots of reasons. Maybe you weren't treated with respect. Maybe someone told you some things about yourself that went against what God said about you and you believed it. Maybe you have dealt with a whole lot of abandonment and rejection. Maybe you have dealt with a whole lot of loss in your life, right? And you just started developing these feelings and these thoughts like Lord, I don't want nobody else to leave me. I'm tired of folks leaving me. I'm tired. I don't know what I'm doing that's turning all these people away. And sometimes things just happen in life that will lead us to develop this mindset, these limited belief systems. And so now we sit in this place where our self-esteem is low. We don't value ourselves the way that we should. And so now all of a sudden we're doing these behaviors and exhibiting these character traits that lead us into a place of just not respecting ourselves, not treating ourselves and honoring ourselves like we're valuable. So then the question is, how do we start rebuilding that? How do we start rebuilding self-respect? I got 3 points for you. The first point that I want to make is that we honor our word to ourselves. I truly believe that being a person of integrity when the doors are closed and nobody is watching you. I just wrote a poem. If you all have not, this is one of those plugs I'm going to throw in there. If you have not gone to speakupsis.com/books, speakupsis.com/books. If you have not gone there and downloaded my latest project, it's an ebook. It's called This Grown Woman Life. It is a collection of spoken word poems for women who have lived enough to know better. And in one of the poems, one of the lines in the poem says, I love myself when no one else is watching. Right? Do you do for you? Do you honor you when you're not in front of other people, for other people to say, oh, girl, will you do that for yourself? Oh, that's so cool. I'm so glad. Like, do you honor your word to yourself when nobody else is watching? If you say you're going to do something, then do you do it? If you say you're going to get up and go to the gym, do you get up and go to the gym? If you say, you know what, I am going to live an abstinent life until I meet the man that I'm going to marry, do you honor that? I, I'm just asking questions. One way to rebuild your self-respect is to honor your word to yourself. You can do it, sis. You can do it. Start small. Little things, right? If you say that you're going to wake up at 6 o'clock, get up at 6 o'clock. Maybe you need to set the alarm for 5:30 so that you can and snooze it. You know what I'm saying? Until you get to like 6 o'clock, I'm up. Maybe you need to have a friend call you like at 5:45 in the morning, like get up, right? Whatever you need to do, honor your word to yourself. If you say you getting up, get up. One of the sisters in the community and I decided that we were going to be prayer partners. And so we decided we were going to get up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and we going to pray together, right? We on the phone and we praying. We both are praying. She praying, I'm praying, we praying, we praying, we praying. And I said to her, I was like, girl, I had not been consistently getting up and praying that early in the morning for a while. And I'm like, oh, it's difficult for me. I got to retrain myself to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get on my face. So I told her, I was like, look, I need you to call me, because she's already up, because she got to be to work like at 6 or whatever. Or she's leaving the house at 6. So I was like, look, I need you to call me. I need you to call me at 4 o'clock. Call me at 4 o'clock. And when I tell you, when she first called, I was like, in my, how you in your sleep and you hear the noise, you hear the sound. I'm like, I know that's not my phone ringing. In my head, I'm going, is my phone? Who is calling me at this ungodly hour? I realized it was the phone ringing. So I picked it up. I was like, hello. And she was like, good morning. I was like, oh, goodness. I was like, it's 4 o'clock already? She's like, yes. So you know what? I take the phone. I be like, okay. I don't say, okay, I'll call you back. No, I take the phone with her on it. I go in the bathroom, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then we go, we head on in and do what we got to do. I said that I am increasing my prayer time. I'm going to be consistent and dedicated to my prayer time, to my time of intercession. What God has given me far too much to do in this world, and far too many people to feed and to minister to, for me to not be on my face at 4 o'clock in the morning, interceding and praying and petitioning heaven and all the things. So to me, it's a small step, but it's going to make a huge impact. Why? Because I'm honoring my word to myself. If you say you're going to do it, then do it. If you tell yourself you're not going to respond to a text message, then don't respond to the text message. If somebody calling you, you already done said you don't want to talk, listen, that's what the block button is for. Y'all would be surprised how many numbers I have in my phone. Because guess what? I know I'm not interested. I don't want to talk. I don't want no text messages. I don't want no connection. So I honor my word to myself. If I say I'm not responding to your text, I'm not responding to your call, I don't want to be bothered, guess what? I take the steps, I put the things in place so that I can honor my word to myself. Please know that self-respect, it is built every time that you prove to yourself that you mean what you say. My mama used to say what you mean and mean what you say, and yeah, say what you mean and then mean what you say. If you don't mean it, don't say it. But if you say it, you better stand behind it. So you do that to other people. Back in the day, we used to say word is bond, right? Your word is your bond. That's what we used to say. Exactly, Miss Vicky. Exactly, Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky said blocked. How you doing, Kiki? I see you over in the YouTube space. Thank you so much for joining today. You driving? Okay, got you, sis. Good morning, Harold Bed's Thoughts. I pray that you're doing well today. Pray you ain't dealing with no migraines. Thank you for popping in today. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The second point that I want to make today about rebuilding your self-respect is that you need to raise your standards quietly. Here's the key to this one. It's not just the raising of the standards, it is the raising of the standards quietly. You do not have to announce to Facebook, I'm cutting people off. You know how we do. I'm cutting people off. I'm cleaning out my list. Da 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 da. I ain't gonna let you keep playing in my face. So I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna do that, or whatever, whatever. One, you need to raise your standards, and two, you need to raise your standards quietly. Just stop entertaining foolishness. Just stop entertaining the things that make you feel small, that make you feel tiny. The same way you can block on your phone, sis, you can block on your computer. Do you understand? You can block on your Facebook account. Every social media platform has a block button. Use it. Raise your standards. If you got to separate yourself, separate yourself. Understand. And here's the thing. Let me tell you what the self-respect looks like when it comes to raising your standards quietly. Self-respect looks like not explaining the standards. Not explaining the standards to people, not trying to make people understand. Self-respect looks like just living the raised standards. I promise you, if you just begin to live the standards, if you say, you know what? I am not going to tolerate this. If you say, I'm no longer going to be going in these places, this stuff is beneath me. If I say, you know what? I'm not going to be doing this. This is beneath me. This is not God's best for me. You don't have to announce it to people. Oh, goodness. Jack's passing gas, y'all. Oh, my goodness. You do not have to explain your standards. See, that people-pleasing spirit will lead you to having to explain. Well, I'm not going to the club anymore because I don't do them. No, raising your standards quietly and having self-respect says, girl, you going to the club? You go, nope, I don't do the club anymore. I'll talk to you soon. Click, live it. Self-respect looks like, even if nobody calls and says, are you going to the club? Self-respect says, I'm not going, and I'm not calling to tell people I'm not coming. I'm just not going to be there. And then guess what? After the first Saturday night, I'm not there. And then the next Saturday night, I'm not there. And the next Saturday night, I'm not there. And then guess what? After a month of Saturday nights that you ain't in the club, folks will get the, they be like, wait a minute, we ain't seen Angel at the club. Oh, goodness. What's going on? Self-respect looks like living these raised standards and not feeling the need to explain them to people and justify things that you have decided to do. Hey, Catherine, how you doing, Kate? It's good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Miss Vicky, now you know that's an old school. Miss Vicky said, "Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing." Absolutely. Absolutely. Whatever you gonna do, just do it. You ain't got to, what they say, don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Exactly. Exactly. Armanda, good morning. Armanda. See, girl, I just tell your name up every time. Is it Armanda or Armanda? Armanda. It's a short A sound. Armanda, not Armanda. Oh, goodness. But good morning. Yes. How best thoughts? We ain't doing no explaining ourselves. Nah, we done with that. We done with that. The third point that I want to make today in rebuilding your self-esteem, right? The third very powerful way that you can begin to build your self-esteem and to rebuild self-respect for yourself is to tell the truth to yourself first. Like, be honest with yourself. Tell you the truth. Don't lie to yourself. That's one thing. That's one thing in my book, and Speak with She, One Woman, 10 Truth, in the short prose that's called Mask Off. Hold on a second. Do I have it with me? Do I have it with me? I don't. I was gonna share that piece with y'all, but I don't have it up here with me. But there's a piece in Mask Off where I talk about how, I may get to a place where I keep things from other people. I wear a mask with other people, but when I ask myself a question, I can't lie to myself. That's one thing about me. I've never been able to just lie to myself. I just ain't been able to do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I sit myself down, oh Lord, the book is sitting right here in my face. I'm sitting here like I can't find it. It's sitting right here in my face. Hold on a second. Because I think this is really important. And because it is in the short piece that is called Mask Off, which is talking about being your authentic self. This piece is about taking off the mask, taking off all the pretense and not and all the pretentiousness and all of the things, and just being who God created you to be, right? You got to tell yourself first. Tell yourself the truth first, right? Hold on a second. Let me see where it's at. Let me see where it's at. Because listen. Where that question at? Here it is. It says, I had to have another conversation with myself. Hold on a second. I had to have another conversation with myself. Yes, I have them often. I ask, how can you expect to help others embrace and speak the truth if you are still covering up your own truth? I know somewhere earlier in my life, I embraced some ideas I have told myself and have accepted for most of my life. I don't believe they came from any one individual, but from a myriad of experiences, conversations, and situations. Some of the ideas are things like, I'm kind of cute, but not beautiful. See, I had to be honest with myself. I had to tell myself the truth about how I felt about myself in order to take the mask off, in order to stop pretending. I had to be honest with me about what I thought about me. And so I had developed some ideas. I have developed some stinking thinking. And I would tell myself things like, I don't believe, excuse me, I'll tell myself things like, I'm kind of cute, but I'm not beautiful. Or I can talk, but not too loudly, and not about, that. I can talk about some things, but I can't talk about those things. I would tell myself things like, yeah, I make good grades, but I'm not that smart. I'm not as smart as they are, right? I would tell myself things like, I can't set goals, or I can set goals, but they can't be too high. They can't be too lofty, right? I would tell myself things like, I should be thankful when good things happen to me, but don't expect them to happen. I would say things like, I can have some success, but only this much. It was all lies, y'all. It was all lies. It was self-sabotaging. When we do these types of things to ourselves, when we say these types of things, we are demonstrating lack or no self-respect. We do not honor and value ourselves. You cannot respect a version of yourself that is fake. You cannot. You cannot respect a version of yourself that is fake. Get mad at it if get mad with me if you want to. If you got to primp it up and priss it up every day, and you got to twist it around and turn it around until you look like somebody else, you don't respect who God created you to be. If you got to walk in the room and you got a cold switch in every other room, and you got to change the way you talk and the tone of your voice and the inflection of your voice, and you can't sound, I don't want to sound too ghetto, and I don't want to sound too proper, and I don't want to listen. You cannot respect the version of yourself that is fake, that is false, that is faux. You can't. You got to tell yourself the truth first. You got to look at your life and you got to tell yourself the truth. You got to tell yourself the truth about your habits. You got to tell yourself. I have a friend right now who is fasting and praying to be released from the bondage of smoking. There are some of you who are church going folks. You believe in God for all kind of stuff. You trying to rebuke devils and you doing all this stuff and you can't put the cigarette down. You still smoking a Black and Milds. You still getting high and you talking about you like, come on. At some point, you got to look yourself in the face and you got to tell yourself the truth. There are some of you, you want to lose weight. The weight ain't coming off. You telling all these things. Oh, it's my this, it's my that, it's my that. No, it's because you can cast down demons, but you can't cast down a donut. You need to be honest with yourself first. You cannot respect a version of yourself that's a lie. You got to be honest about your patterns. You got listen. I keep all these narcissists, baby. If you done dated 4 narcissists, the common denominator of between the 4 is you. What is it about you that keeps leading you to a place for you to continue to meet men who are narcissists? Sis, look at your patterns. Be honest with yourself. Be honest about what you out here looking for. Be honest about how you move. You got to be honest. You cannot respect a version of yourself. That is a lie. Tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth about your excuses. I have a good friend who used to say, okay, all right, before you say what you're gonna say, if we were talking and there was a disagreement, or if they felt like I was getting ready to justify something, they say, okay, hold on, before you tell me that, are you finna give me a reason or an excuse? I would be like, what you trying to say? But it would stop me and it would make me think, like, what's the difference between a reason and an excuse? If someone say you make an excuse, you say, no, but I got a good reason. Okay, then what's the difference between your reason and your excuse? The point is you still ain't getting it done. Tell yourself the truth. You're a procrastinator. The reason that you are not getting it done is because you procrastinate. It's because you're not consistent. How can I speak this strongly to you? Because I have dealt with it myself. I can help you get free because I done got free. Some of you can't get free because you keep talking to people who lie to themselves. You can't get free. You can't build some self-respect for yourself because you surrounded by a bunch of people who don't respect themselves. All y'all fake and phony. All y'all faces don't look like y'all. Don't none of y'all bodies look like y'all. Everybody got on Spanx. Everybody got on makeup 2 shades too light. Everybody got hair down to their ankles. Everybody fake. Everybody pretending their relationships is great. All y'all hanging out together. All of you lying to yourselves. You wonder why you can't get no breakthrough because you can't tell yourself the truth, and then you hanging with people who can't tell themselves the truth, and now all y'all just a bunch of caged in, broke down, busted, disgusted, lying to yourself and lying to each other people, and you walking around talking about I love myself, self-care, I'm gonna get my nails done, self-care, it's about self-care. What's the use of self-care if you got no self-respect? And when you go home at night, you got guilt and shame and self-condemnation because you can't look yourself in the face and tell yourself the truth. Love yourself enough to work through the bad habits, the piss poor patterns, and the evil, wicked excuses. Love yourself enough to work through them. Y'all listen, y'all got heaven coming down now. This is not a sermon. Y'all ain't got to talk to me. You ain't got to talk to me. You ain't got to click on the video and say you watching. You ain't got to do nothing because I know you watching. I know you listening because you know it's the truth. I want you to rebuild your self-respect because there was a time in your life when you had self-respect. And maybe you've been in relationships where the self-respect been beat out you. Maybe you've been connected to people where the self-respect has been bullied out of you. Maybe you have been in situations where the guilt and the shame have caused you to lower the esteem that you have for yourself. Maybe you done missed the mark so many times. Maybe you didn't graduate on time when you thought you should. Maybe you ended up in a situation that, maybe you found yourself locked up in a jail or a prison, or whatever the reason is that led you to a place where you don't have no self-respect. What I'm saying is that it's very possible for you to rebuild your self-respect. And it don't require nobody else to do nothing for you. Don't nobody got to primp you and prop you and push you up and lift you up and all of that. Ain't nobody got to be doing all this motivation. No, motivation is intrinsic. You can be inspired by me, but baby, you got to motivate yourself. Motivation is intrinsic. In order to build self-respect, there's stuff that you are going to have to do on your own. I cannot build your self-respect for you. You got to do the work. You got to honor your word. You got to raise your standards. You got to tell yourself the truth. And you got to do those things when ain't nobody watching. The best way to build self-respect is to know. Like, don't know, like, so when you walk into a room and you can walk with your head held high because you know what's going, like, don't nobody else know what you done accomplished. Don't nobody else know what you broke free from, but you know. You can walk in a room just as confident and sure when you know, I know the value that I bring to this place. These people ain't got to know me. I know who I am. I bless the Lord. That's not arrogance. That's not being pompous. That's not being braggadocious. That is being sure that you know who you are. And how can you not respect the heir to the throne of heaven? You are an heir to Christ. Listen, how can you not respect that? Who don't respect a queen? Who don't respect a king? Who don't? Even if you don't like the queen, baby, when she show up, you gonna stand up. Even if you don't like her, when she walk in. So the same way you would honor a queen in the natural, says you got to honor yourself that way. The problem is many of you don't know who you are. You have no clue who you are. You have no clue who you are. Yeah, you recite, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't even know what that means. Most of you don't even know what that means. You don't know what that looks like in real time. You're just quoting and reciting stuff because it sounds cute. But are you living that, sis? Are you living that? Many of you who are mothers, I hear you, Lord, they're going to get mad at me. But many of you who are mothers, you can look at your children and see the lack of self-respect that you have for you by what you allow in your children's lives. I know you don't want me to say that, but it's the truth. We can look at your kids and tell you got no self-respect for you because we can see how you let your children live. I'm just saying. We can look at your children and see they have no self-respect for themselves. Oftentimes the children don't respect themselves because they've been trained to not have self-respect because they watch you not have no self-respect. But you was walking around pretending, telling everybody everything was right. And I'm telling you, it ain't. It ain't. I know this is hard. This is a hard conversation to have. I told y'all this is going to be hard. This is a hard conversation to have, but it is a necessary conversation to have. And if you are listening to me and you are like, that ain't me, and you're getting, let me tell you, if you're listening to me and you're feeling angry, frustrated, if you're like, Daddy, I don't know who she think. Listen, I'm talking to you. Because if it wasn't you, you'd have done clicked off because you'd be like, oh, this message ain't for me. You'd have been gone. But because you still here and you listening and you frustrated and I'm irritating your soul. Why? Because your spirit want to be free. Your soul want to be unhinged. It want to be untethered to foolishness. So don't fight it. Acknowledge it. Love yourself enough to work through the hard pieces. Love yourself enough to do the hard work of heart work, sis. Today we talking about self-respect. Today we talking about self-respect. We ain't talking about some you go, you gonna respect me. How I ain't respecting nobody who don't respect me. Baby, you don't respect yourself. You don't respect yourself. In this day and age, in this day and age, you ain't got to be nowhere you don't want to be. You ain't got to do nothing you don't want to do. It ain't nobody with no chain and whip standing behind you talking about you better do this, you got to do that. That's not happening to you today. So if you are sitting in places where you are being disrespected and sitting in places where you are not valued, sitting in places where your gifts are not honored and you're not treated well, if you sitting there and ain't nobody got no chain, no whip, they got no weapon, they got nothing keeping you there, it's you. You're choosing to be in that place. You're choosing to put up with that. Now, mind you, there may be lots of mental and psychological things that are going through and lots of things that are keeping you there. But what I'm saying is that you got to get the help. If you're someone who's dealing with really heavy things, listen, go get you a therapist, babe. Get a counselor. Get somebody. Get Jesus first. Get Jesus first. And then get the help that you need so that you're able to do the work, the hard work that needs to be done in order for you to respect yourself, respect and honor yourself. Hallelujah. Yes, Miss Vicky said it's tight, but it's right. Yes, ma'am. I see you, Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky says it's tight, but it's right. And that's what I'm talking about. So here we go. What do I want y'all to do? If you are watching me and you are like, it's me, Angel. If you like the stink is on me. If you like the stink is on me, help me. Help me, Angel. Help me. Today I'm gonna give y'all an activity to do. It's kind of a variation of something that a coach I worked with a coach some years back and gave me some mirror work today. I want to give you all some mirror work today. Okay. And so the coach that I worked with had me look in the mirror and tell myself that I love me, and tell myself to spend 60 seconds looking at myself in the mirror with I'm unclothed with nothing on, and to say to myself, like, I love you, I love your stomach, I love your nose, I love your whatever. And I couldn't even get the 30 seconds good before I was in tears. Because like I told y'all earlier, I can't lie to myself. I'm just not a lying person. But I truly ain't gonna lie to myself. And so it was difficult to look at myself fully unclothed, getting ready to get in the shower and look in the mirror and say that I love my stomach, which was round and squishy and stretch marked, and I loved all of these things, because the truth is that I didn't love them. I didn't love them. I didn't appreciate them. I didn't, I wanted them to look a certain way. I wanted them to be a certain way. I wanted to whatever. And so the truth is I couldn't honestly tell myself those things because they just weren't the truth. I had to move beyond just, I love my smile, I have a good personality. You know what I'm saying? We always, whenever we want to deflect from loving all the parts of us, yeah, should you love your character and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, but you should really love and appreciate your body too. And oftentimes when we sit in a place where we can't love what we see, then we will deflect to all of these abstract things about ourselves. Oh, I love that I got my degree and I did these and I did, and all of those things are great. And you should do that because there's some people who can't appreciate those things. But for me, I was sitting in a place where I could say, I have a beautiful smile, I'm really intelligent, and I've traveled the country and I could do all those things, but I couldn't sit in the mirror and appreciate the body that God gave me that carried 4 lives, 2 at one time, that sustained life. I couldn't appreciate that about myself. And I had to be honest with myself about that. So that was a piece of mirror work that my coach at the time had me to do in order to help me to get past some things and get past some beliefs, some negative beliefs and limited beliefs and all those things. So I want to give you all a little bit of work to do. Okay. And you know what? I was thinking, I was like, what? I was telling myself, I need to give myself a name. I'm gonna give myself a name, y'all, and I'm gonna brand myself. I'm gonna be the mirror mentor. That's what I'm gonna be. I promise you, if I see one of y'all take it, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for your neck. Okay. I'm coming for your neck, straight for your neck. You understand? But I think I'm gonna be the mirror mentor. One of the readers of my books, she wrote a review and she said Angel Charmaine's books are like self-help books that give you a mirror instead of the answers. And when I read it, I just was like, my God, that is so. And so I have adopted that. And then that's what the Lord showed me. Like, you, Angel, you're showing them themselves. They are being reflected through you, sis, through you. So listen, I'm going to be your mirror mentor. How about that? I'm going to let you see you and all your glory and all your mess. So here's your homework, y'all. Are you ready? Here's your homework. And we're not going to be journaling this time. Miss Vicky said, woo, I see you, sis. I see you. So we're not going to be journaling this time. The homework I want you to do, I want you to make an agreement with yourself. Can you do that? I want you to come into agreement with yourself, and I want you to do it in the mirror. That's why it's called a mirror agreement. I want you to come into agreement with yourself. I want you to stay right there in the mirror. Okay? And this is how it's going to work. I want you to stand in the mirror. I want you to look yourself in the eyes. You look yourself in the eyes. And this is what I want you to say. You might have to like rewind this so that you write it down or whatever and you get it, because clearly I want you to say this, right? I want you to say, from this moment forward. Can y'all repeat after me? I'm gonna talk it slowly so that you can type it in the chat or something. From this moment forward. Somebody need to be my secretary today. Come on. From the recorder, the writer, the scribe. From this moment forward, I will speak to you with love. I will show up for you with honor. I will treat you like someone who matters. I promise to respect you starting today. I want you to look yourself in the I want you to look yourself in the mirror. And I'm going to say it again. I want you to listen. I want you to look straight in your eyes. And I want you to say it aloud. Don't be thinking it or none of that. I want you to look yourself in the bathroom mirror, in the bedroom mirror, whatever mirror you need to look at. And I want you to say, from this moment forward, I will speak to you with love. I will show up for you with honor. And I will treat you like someone who matters. And I promise to respect you starting today. Y'all got that? I see Tiana. Tiana got from this moment forward. Do I need to say it one more time for y'all, or do y'all have it? I'm trying to see. Okay, I will speak to you with love. I see Tiana. I will show up for you with honor. I will treat you like someone who matters. Absolutely. And I promise to respect you from this day forward. Tiana, I see you. Thank you for typing that in. Y'all got it? Then I want you to write down 3 actions, 3 very, very specific actions that you're going to take for within this week. Like, today is Thursday, so this will be the beginning of the week, right? So from Thursday to Thursday, I want you to write down 3 very specific actions that you're going to take this week that align with the promise that you are making to yourself. And what that looks like, right, is turning off your phone at 9 o'clock. You saying no to something that you don't want to do, making your bed every morning, prepping healthy meals that are just for you, whatever it looks like. Take 3 specific actions that align with you loving yourself, showing up for yourself, honoring yourself, treating you like you matter, respecting you. 3 very specific things, 3 very specific actions that align with the promise that you make yourself. And I want you to follow through with it. Understand? And for those of you who are like, okay, so how long am I supposed to do this? You're gonna stand in that mirror. You're gonna do it every morning, and you're gonna speak this promise to yourself until it becomes your standard. So I'm not gonna say, oh, do this for a week, do this for 30 days. No, you may need to recite this to yourself, or you're not reciting it. Thank you, Lord, because we're not just regurgitating stuff. You're going to speak this to yourself as long as it takes for it to become your standard. So if you got to stand in the mirror every single day for 365 days in a year before it clicks and it becomes just who you are, then that's how long you're going to do it. That's how long you're going to do it. If it take you 30 days, if it take you 60 days, if it take you 12 months, however long it takes, you're going to stand up. You're going to look in that mirror every single morning, and you're going to make yourself this promise every single morning until it becomes the truth. Because see, when you first start saying it, it ain't going to feel like the truth, but it is the truth. You got to speak those things that be not as though they were. You are not lying. It is the truth. It is what God has said about you. It is who you are. Listen, you just don't believe it right now. So you're going to keep saying it until you believe it, until you live it, until it is the standard. Thank you, Tiana. I appreciate you, sis, for writing that down in the chat. She said, write down 3 specific actions that align with this purpose. Absolutely. And don't just write them down. I need you to do them. Okay, I need you to do them. I need you to do them. Please remember, I need y'all to know this is not about a feeling. Oh, I feel. We need to get out of our feelings. That's why we be flipping our belief systems from here to there. One day we believe in God, next day we don't believe. Now we praying to the ancestors, we doing all these things because it's about a feeling. You want to feel a certain way. But self-respect is not a feeling, y'all. Self-respect is a series of decisions that you are making. Your life is the sum total of the decisions that you make every single day. And when you start making these decisions, right? When you start making these decisions for yourself from a place of love and not fear, and you stop asking for people to treat you right, and you start begging people to respect you, and you start demanding it by the way that you show up for yourself. I don't got to ask you to respect me. When I show up in the room respecting myself, you ain't going to have nothing else to do. You don't have no other choice but to respect who I am. So I'm going to shut this down for the day. I told y'all it was heavy. I'm going to shut it down for today. But before I get out of here, I'm just going to ask you one more time. Sis, do you respect yourself? Do you respect yourself? Tell me, do you respect yourself? And if the answer is not yet, if the answer is kinda, yeah, but I got some work to do, then guess what? Today is your lucky day. Today is your lucky day. Today is your lucky day. Let today be the day that all that changes. Let today be the day that you begin your journey of healing to get to a place where you can say, I love myself genuinely. And for those of you who do not know, I am an authenticity coach. I'm a life story transformer, certified life story transformational coach. And if you need a little bit of help, if you need a mirror mentor, if you need somebody to work through the stuff with you, then feel free. I have a 5-week coaching program that is called Authenticity Unlocked. It used to be a group program. When I finished those initial ones, I decided to change it as the Lord began to deal with me about who I am and what I do, in order to give the most impact to the women that I am called to serve and to feed as they walk. I needed to be able to work with women one-on-one. So I no longer do the group coaching. It is a one-on-one 5-week Authenticity Unlocked coaching experience. It's not a program, it's an experience. understand. And just let me say, if you are extremely sensitive, if you are a sensitive person and you don't like for nobody to talk stern to you, and you don't want nobody to really, pull some, then I probably am not going to be the type of person that you want to work with. You understand what I'm saying? I'm loving and kind and caring, but I'm not real gentle. I just want to say that. I'm not real gentle. I'm not. You know why? Because the enemy got a yoke around y'all's neck, and y'all want people to play with y'all. I don't have time to play with y'all. Some of you are locked up in prison and somebody got to come bust you out. You cannot bust somebody out of a prison knocking on the prison door. That's just not how it works. You understand? And so I just want to let you know ahead of time, if you come this way and you say, okay, Angel, just know that what you see, this is light work right here. This is light work. If my tone is strong now, let me tell you, I don't scream and holler, I don't cuss, I don't do none of that kind of stuff. That's not me. I'm a child of God, and I'm a woman who's after God's own heart. I'm a disciple of the way. So I don't curse people and talk crazy to folks. I don't do that kind of stuff. But I will not, and I will tell you that I'm serious. I'm serious about the work that I do. I'm serious about what God has called me to do. And so I just don't mince words with you. So I want you to remember that, because sometimes people will fill out the form and they will come in, they won't tiptoe. I don't tiptoe. I don't tiptoe. Okay. All right. So if you need a little bit of help and you believe that I am someone who can help you, and I need you to seek the Lord about that first, right? Seek the Lord about it first. Talk to him first. Like I said, this ain't no coaching program where we trying to just get no. This is ministry for me. It's ministry for me. So if you believe the Lord is leading you to work with me, then I need you to talk to him first to make sure that you're ready and prepared to really be able to do the work, do the hard work, and see yourself, to be able to look in the mirror and see yourself and own what you see, so that you can begin to do the things that you need to do in order to unlock who God has called you to be. Okay? And with that, I'm done for the day. Miss Vicky, I sound like you. That's what's up, Miss Vicky. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with sounding like you, sis. I thank you, because that's wisdom right there. Miss Vicky is full of wisdom, so I am definitely okay with that. Okay, Harold Bed's thought says more than I used to. So I believe that she's talking about when I asked, do you respect yourself? She says more than I used to, and that's good, and that's progress, and that's honesty, right? That's you telling yourself the truth, and I respect that, sis. Okay, now with that, I'm gonna say peace out. I am not gonna be here tomorrow. Tomorrow I get on the road to Pennsylvania. We will be having the Speak Up Sis experience in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, with Rhema Creations. The owners are Latoya and David Washington. They are hosting the Speak Up Sis experience in Pennsylvania. And so I'm going to be there all weekend. I am so excited about that. I've been praying, seeking the Lord. I am already sure that it's going to be some amazing things that take place. If you are in Mechanicsburg or anywhere, if you're in driving distance and you want to be in the building, I suggest you go ahead and get you a ticket and come on and show up. If you've never been to the Speak Up Sis experience, you are just missing a treat. And everybody's like, what do you do there? What is it about? And the answer is always, we really can't explain to you what it's about. You just kind of got to be in the room, right? So whenever you see the Speak Up Sis near you, then you just want to be in the room. Okay. Also, I will be speaking at the Grace and Grit Wellness Summit, June 27th and 28th in Augusta, Georgia. So come on out for that. I believe tickets are still available for that as well. I'm going to be on a panel discussion. And listen, the panel discussions, they really deal with some serious things, and What you see is what you get. I bring real and raw and relevant to those panels. Have you ever watched the panel discussion and everybody was real PC and they were tiptoeing? I don't tiptoe. I believe God has called me to be a voice that speaks the truth in powerful, difficult places. And so I'm sure the panel will be all the way live. You know why? Because I don't bite my tongue, and what the Lord says, I'm going to say, and we're going to keep it moving, but people going to get free. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're anywhere near Augusta, Georgia, you want to be in the room June 27th and 28th for the Grace and Grit Wellness Summit that is hosted by Grace for This, Kenitra Moselle, and I think his name is Darius J. I'm not familiar with the man, but I'm familiar with the woman. Go ahead and get you a ticket and come out and let's talk wellness, okay? And with that, y'all have a good one. I thank you, Harold Bears Thoughts. We will definitely be safe driving. Y'all take care. Have a great day. So I won't be here tomorrow. Want to make sure I say that. I will not be live tomorrow because I'll be on the road.